Hello everyone, my name is Himanshu Gupta. I am the financial advisor at DizziPay. Today I will be discussing credit card frauds. I am sure that you must have heard this term many times before, but at the same time I am confident that many of us lack knowledge on how this credit card fraud happens and what kind of preventive measures we should take to be on the safer side. So today I am going to discuss about these frauds and what kind of common, very easy precautions we can take to prevent ourselves. So the target audience for today's webinar will be the banks which are issuing the credit card to their customers and also the customers who are using the credit card for their financial need. So before I go further, I would like to give you a quick introduction about my company DizziPay. So DizziPay is a fintech company and we have come up with the unique solution that allows consumers to pay securely with or without owning a credit or a debit card, and we also have a patent pending on this technology. So these will be the discussion topics for today. First of all, I am going to discuss the impact of credit card frauds on consumers. Here I will be showing you some reports which are issued by some renowned agencies which are working into the financial sector. And then I will discuss with you the different type of credit card frauds, because I think it is very important to know the different types of credit card frauds, and then only we can counter them. Then I will discuss the reasons behind frequently increasing credit card frauds, and then I will discuss the steps which banks can take to reduce the credit card frauds, because I think it is the bank's responsibility to provide a secure transaction method to their customers. And then I will be discuss what kind of precautions can customers take to counter the credit card frauds. So moving further, so this is a report which was issued by the Federal Trade Commission in 2017, and that report shows that 45% of the total financial frauds are just related to the credit cards. So the reason why I am showing you this report is that I wanted to draw your attention on two things. First of all, that why people are reluctant to use their credit cards these days. The second thing is that banks really need to focus on that area, because if you see here that there are some other kind of frauds as well, like the bank fraud and the phone fraud, and but they are still in control. But if you talk about the credit card fraud, it's almost half of the total financial frauds. So you can see the amount. And this is the reason that why I have chosen this subject for the webinar, because banks and the fintech companies, they really need to focus on that area. So this is another report which was issued by the Lexington Law, and that was also issued in 2017. And on the previous report, we have seen that why people are reluctant to use their credit card, and the credit card frauds are really increasing the percentage contribution of credit card among the total financial frauds. So here I wanted to draw your attention, like I wanted to show you where exactly are the customers afraid of using their credit cards. So this is a survey which was done by Lexington Law in 2017, and it shows that 30% of the total 30% of the customers are afraid of using their card on the website. I mean, this is and the reason behind it is the increasing number of online frauds. The hackers are using fake websites, and they are also able to hack some websites which are not abide by the security measures. And the second place where customers are afraid of using their card is gas stations, because you must have heard one of those news where it says that the schemers were found on the gas station. I have also read a news like 2 days ago that 7 different schemers were found in the Houston area. So the schemers are very common on the gas stations, and also the online frauds are regularly increasing. So this is the reason why people are afraid of using their card on these places. And also it was estimated that in 2017 the total loss only due to the website kind of credit card fraud was almost the total loss was $5.2 billion. So $5.2 billion, I think it's a huge amount, and it's just the amount which was done only through the website related frauds, and the total amount is very much huge as in compared to that amount. So moving further, now I have discussed with you, I've showed you some reports that I just wanted to show you that where are the customers afraid of using their card and why they are afraid, because the credit card frauds are increasing. Now I would like to discuss with you some different kind of frauds which are very common when it comes to the credit card frauds. So the first of all, it's very common, I'm sure that you must have heard about it. It's the identity theft fraud. Actually, identity theft is done for many purposes, but we will discuss that how identity theft is used for the purpose of credit card fraud. So first of all, let me tell you that the identity theft is a crime where someone uses your personal information to do the credit card fraud. So that is called the identity theft in terms of credit card fraud. So it can further be divided into two different types. The first is called true name identity theft fraud, and the other one is called the account takeover. In the true name identity theft fraud, what the scammer will do is that they will use your personal information to apply for a new credit card, and they will get a new credit card on your name, and then they will use it to make the fraud transactions. And then the other one is the account takeover. In the account takeover, they will use your existing credit card accounts to make the fraud transaction. Banks have already taken care of that true name identity theft to a large extent, because these days we don't listen about these kind of frauds very much. But if I talk about the account takeover identity theft fraud is regularly increasing every single year. And what the hacker does is, in that case, what the hacker will do is that once they will get your card, then they will call the credit card company and they will tell them to change the billing address. So you will not even get the statement on your address. So that's how they do that. And this is a report which was issued in 2018 by Javelin Strategy and Research, and it shows that 6.64% of the total consumer became a victim of identity theft fraud, and also the total loss due to the account takeover was $5.1 billion. So it's a huge amount, I would say, and we really need to come up with an idea to stop it. But for now, this is the report which was issued in 2018. So now the next credit card fraud type, it's very common, I would say. I'm sure that you must have heard about it, because it's called the electronic credit card imprints. This device, you can see, it's only used for the hacking purpose. It's called a skimmer, and I'm very surprised to see that. It was available on the internet just for $1, and it's only used for the credit card or debit card hacking purpose. So how that works is that once you insert your card inside this device, so that device will read the information which is imprinted on the magnetic strip of your card, and then it will store it, and later on hackers use that information to make another fake card, a duplicate copy of your card. So that's how it works, and it's available just for $1 on the website, and I think the government should do something to stop these kind of websites, because that promotes hacking. So moving further now, this is another kind of fraud. This is called fake cards. It's comparatively hard to do if I compare it with the other kind of frauds, but skilled hackers, they can still do it. In the fake cards, what they will do is they will use the information imprinted on your credit card, like your credit card number, CVV number, everything, and they will make the exact same card which will look like your own card, and then they will use this card to make the fraud transaction. So that's how they do it. And also it's a report which it's a news basically, which was issued which came in 2016, and it shows that $13 million were lost in a robbery that was done just by using the fake cards, and it was done to a South African bank by using the ATMs in Japan. Now this is another type. It's also very common. It's increasing every single year. It's CNP fraud. We can say card not present fraud. So in any scenario where the hacker or the scammer is not physically present to make the fraud transaction, or he's just using the card to make the fraud transaction over the phone or over the website, then it is called card not present fraud. And it is comparatively easy to do, because in this kind, the hacker is not physically using the card, he is just using the information which is imprinted on the card. So this is the report this is an article which was published into Forbes, and it says that due to the EMV chips, the face-to-face fraud transactions became very difficult. So that's why the hackers are completely focusing on the online frauds. That is also a reason that the online frauds are regularly increasing. And according to a report published in the Retail Dive, it says that amount of card not present fraud can hit $130 billion by 2023. I mean, it's a really a huge amount. It's 130 billion by 2023 if we do not take the proper actions against credit card frauds on time. So I have discussed with you the different reports, and I have also discussed the different kind of frauds. And by this report, I wanted to show you the amount of online attack volume on different countries. And I was surprised to see that more than half of the total online attacks are just happening to the United States. So the people of United States of America are really becoming victim of these online frauds. So I mean, the banks in the United States, they should completely focus on that area, I think, and they really need to come up with an idea, because the customers over there in United States, I don't think they are feeling safe after looking at this report. And then we can see that on the second position we have United Kingdom and China, and then we have Netherlands and the other countries. But for the United States, it's really a matter of concern, because 52% of the total financial frauds are just happening to the United States of America. So now I have discussed with you the different reports. I want to discuss with you the different precautions which banks can take. These are very easy precautions, I would say, and we can reduce the credit card frauds to a large extent if we carefully take these precautions. So the first precautions is banks should educate their customers. It's very important for the banks to educate their customers, because sometimes customers don't know what are the risks involved by using in using the credit card. They are just using the credit card. They don't exactly know the kind of frauds which are going on. So this is the bank's responsibility to make them educate if they are providing them the credit card. And also the banks can send emails or text messages time to time about the important precautions which customers can take. So the second thing is that establish an early warning system. What I mean by the early warning system is that the hackers are coming up with new ideas time to time. The schemes and the strategies which they were using 5 years ago, they are not using the same strategies today. So they are changing their ideas, they are changing their strategies, schemes. So banks should also proactively they should put in their efforts to know what kind of strategies or scams, what kind of ways the hackers using for the credit card fraud, and they should alert their customers on time or take the proper action on time before they become a victim. The third thing is that banks should also use a watermark authentication. What is a watermark authentication is that on the website, just to prove the authenticity of the website, banks use watermark authentication. It is a special sign that shows that this website is not fake and this is the original website. So this is called the watermark authentication. And I think for the banks especially, it's very important to use the watermark authentication, because the hackers, especially for the banks, they make fake websites, and by using those fake websites they can easily take the customers' login information. So banks should always use the watermark authentication on their websites, and they should also educate the customer about that sign, and they should tell them that until and unless if they don't see this watermark authentication on the website, do not put their login information or any kind of information on that website. So the next things which banks can do is that banks should use the best encryption method, because there is a very sensitive data which customers are sending by the bank's website, and also there is a very sensitive data which is coming from the bank server to the websites. So banks should use the best encryption technique, and no one should be able to read the data even if someone hack it, and only the bank should have the algorithm to decode or to decrypt that data. So the next thing is banks should install the monitoring system to detect the unusual activity. What I mean by the unusual activity is that, for example, if a customer is in a habit to make a transaction of $1,000 at a time, like the maximum amount of transaction he is making in the past was only for $1,000, and suddenly he is making a transaction or he is transferring money for $5,000. So there is an unusual activity. So banks should have a system to monitor these kind of activities in the real time and to check the authenticity of these transactions, and they should hold these kind of transactions until they don't make sure that this is a real transaction and this transaction is made by the genuine user. So these were the precautions which I think banks can take. These were very easy precautions. And even if every bank in the United States follow these precautions which I have discussed, and I think the credit card frauds can reduce to a large extent if we do these things. So now I will discuss that what precautions can customers take. They are very easy precautions, and if customers take those precautions, they can also help to reduce the total amount of fraud. So these are the precautions which customers can take. First of all, for the customer, it's important to keep their credit card safe. What I mean here by keeping the credit card safe means that never leave your card unattended. And if you're making a transaction with the credit card, always make the transaction in front of you, and always keep it in the safe place where no one can see it, because the hackers can easily take a picture of your card from their cell phone and then they can use this information for other purposes. So always keep your credit card in a safe place, and always do not keep it unattended anytime. The next thing is shred anything with your credit card number on it. It's very important. Sometimes what happens is that we get the credit card statement, and after reading the credit card statement, we just directly put it into the trash. That is completely irresponsible, because anyone can get that credit card statement and then they can read the information. So it's very important that before putting your credit card statement or any other document which you have received from the bank, before putting it into the trash, always shred it. And you can also go a step further and just put the statement into the different trashes if possible for you. Otherwise, at least shred the statement before putting them into the trash. The next thing is, do not sign the blank credit receipts. Sometimes what we do is that we go to the merchant, and if the POS machine is not working or for any other reason, we use the credit receipts for the credit card transaction. And if a merchant is giving you a blank credit receipt, do not sign it. Always put the amount first, then sign the credit receipt, because later on the merchant can put any amount on the credit receipt and they can send it to your credit card company. So it's very important to put the amount first, then sign it. So the next thing is that avoid giving out your credit card information. It is very important. Sometimes this is the major reason also for the increasing number of frauds, because people are not much careful about giving their credit card information out. So never, first of all, only give the credit card information on the calls which you initiate to make an order, because some companies take orders over the phone by using credit cards. So, and do not return calls to the emails. Do not return calls on the numbers which you get on the email. Like sometimes we get the email promotions with a huge discount, and there's a number given, and we call on that number to place an order, give the credit card information, because there is a high possibility that the scammers, they just want to trap you. They want you to call on that number and then get the credit card information. So never return calls to the email promotions or the promotions which you get on the answering machine or like over the phone or on your voicemail. So this is very important. And also, if you are calling to a merchant to place an order over the phone, always make sure that you're calling on the right number. Because you are giving a very sensitive data to someone which can be used to make frauds with you very easily. So the second thing is that be safe with your credit card online. I've already told you that the online frauds are regularly increasing every single year. Despite making a lot of efforts by the banks, despite making a lot of efforts by the fintech companies, the online frauds are regularly increasing every single year. The number of hackers are increasing. The number of techniques they are using, that is also increasing. So you should always be attentive. You should always be careful if you are using your card online, and never click on the links which you get on your email or from the bank or from the credit card company, and because these are called phishing scams. What the hackers will do is they will send you an email which will exactly look like that came from the bank or from the credit card company. Once you click on that link, you will directly go to a website which will be a fake website, and once you enter your login information, the hackers will get it. So that's how they do it. They will send an email, customers click on those emails, they will enter your login, they will enter their login information on that fake website, and the hackers will get that information, and then by using that information, they will log into your original account, and from your original account they will transfer the money to an account which is, you never heard of that account. I mean, some Chinese account are there, they just send the money right on their account. They are not even traceable. So always make sure that you are directly going to the bank website and you are not clicking on a link which is coming on your email. The next thing is that if you lost your card or if your card has been stolen, you should immediately call to the customer service number and cancel it as soon as you can, because as soon as you let them know, as soon as you inform them about your credit card loss, they can the sooner they can cancel your card. And always keep your always keep the credit card customer service number with you, and you can memorize it, or you can write it in a safe place, because in case if you lost your credit card, then in that case you should not be looking for the number, and it should always be there in advance, so that if you lost your card, then you can immediately call the customer service number and then cancel it. So the next thing is, it's also a very important precaution that you should always check the credit card statement each month. It should not be like, if you're getting your credit card statement, and even if you see a $1 transaction which is suspicious and which you think that you did not make it, so always call the customer service number and ask about that $1 transaction, because that is the first sign of the fraud on your credit card. So if you take the action on time, it will be better for you. The next thing is that always make strong passwords. Sometimes, for our convenience, what we do is that we make very easy passwords, like a series of number like 1 2 3 4 5 6, or sometimes we use our first name or last name. These are very easy passwords and anyone can guess it. So never do these kind of mistakes. Always make a strong password, and always use uppercase, lowercase or special cases in your password. And the second thing is, never share your password with anyone, and also never write down your password anywhere. Next thing is that I have showed you that schemer. This is the electronic schemer which is used for the hacking purpose. So sometimes what the hacker does is that they place it into the ATM machine, and once you go to the ATM machine to withdraw the cash, and then your credit card information that is being stored into that schemer. So whenever you're going to an ATM to withdraw cash, always check the place where you are putting your card. It should be intact and it should not be damaged. And if you see if it is damaged or something like that, always report it to the bank immediately, because those hackers, they put the schemers in the ATM machine, and later on they come back to take the machine, and then they will use the information to make the fake cards. So it's very important to take that precautions when you are using ATM machine to withdraw the cash. So that was all. These were the common precautions. Thank you so much for your time and patience. And also, before I finish, I would also like to tell you that you can reach us anytime at info@DizziPay.com. If you have any question regarding credit card, debit card, or even a bank account, just send us an email at info@DizziPay.com. We will try to revert back to you as soon as we can. And thank you so much once again, everyone. Have a good day.